YouTube, what is up? Madden 24 beta impressions. The beta did drop this past week on Thursday. Been playing and watching a lot of gameplay, and I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on really strictly gameplay-oriented things. You know, how's man, how's zone, what are some new things about gameplay that are going to drastically affect the meta for Madden 24 and its full release. In the background, I got some tournament footage for my good friend, Goat Yeezy, for some eye fodder while we talk about Madden 24. I've got a list of things I want to talk about, some bad things, some good things, and yeah, let's get right into it. First up, I do want to start with the bad over the good. It's a little bit easier way to transition. So I've already tweeted about this the other day, but I feel like it's probably the biggest thing and the biggest, negative cloud hanging over Madden 24. And it's the reason why I actually have not played a game in a few days. I'm really only watching because it's almost unplayable, but I think this is just a beta thing and will get fixed for Madden 24, and that is the pre-play adjusting. It is very delayed. It is very sticky. It just simply does not work, especially on defense. What I mean is you cannot make probably more than 2 adjustments before the play is hyped because 1, either the buttons are not responding, or 2, it takes forever. Normally, when you're, pre-play on defense, you can go, okay, throw this guy in a deep half. I want to man up the running back. I want to, contain my defensive ends. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you can get that done in, I would say, 3 to 4 seconds if you know what you are doing. And especially in a game like Madden where stock zones sometimes might be good. For the most part, a stock play call is not the best because if you're playing a good opponent, they're going to know how to attack each and every zone. So defensively, the way I love to play is make a lot of adjustments based on what formation my opponent is and how my opponent is attacking my defense. And in Madden 24 right now, you essentially cannot do that. So zone coverage, even though zones, I wouldn't really say are drastically better than Madden 23, they definitely play and react a little bit faster. They play more physical on the point of the catch, meaning you don't get many, it's just more like a physical collision, especially when someone highballs like a seam route. Your defensive back will come in and bam, they'll smack the receiver and they'll drop it for the most part. But I haven't really been able to test zones that much because in my opinion, you got to be able to adjust to get the right zones on the field for the right formations in the right situations, and you just can't. So a lot of defense in Madden 24 right now is man coverage. You throw out a purple, you maybe throw in a contain and a spy, and the dude hacks the ball. And it's that's your defense. You just got to pray. Offensively for that, it takes forever to ID the mic and do hot routes. When you go to the line of scrimmage, normally, Madden 23, you would get 1 free hot route, and it would just, automatically do it. Right now, in 24, when you make the hot route, your quarterback gets to the line of scrimmage, and then he does the animation, and then the hot route goes through. So, you can't, it's just really, really hard, and you might say, oh, this is better for the game, it's more sim, people calling just stock plays. Yeah, well, go up against a defense like Spinner, a send-heavy, a send-pressure meta, send a lot of people blitz, and you're going to want to block your running back, block your tight end, put shorter routes in the field. You're going to want to ID the mic a lot of times. Well, it's almost impossible to do that right now. And I'm really, really hoping, because this has never been an issue in any Madden ever. I'm really, really hoping it's just the fluidity of really the menus inside of gameplay are a lot more smooth and responsive for the full game because, again, a lot of stuff right now we don't really have opinions on if you ask anybody because, the thing is, it feels a little bit better in practice mode, but once you get to an online game, it feels like you're playing on a 300-inch flat screen TV where the delay is 4 seconds for every button movement pre-play. That's how it feels. There's also some instances where I'll hike the ball. 1, I won't be able to hike the ball after I make adjustments on offense, and 2, I'll be trying to throw to receiver, and the button will just not react at all. I'll be spamming, I'll go, Y, hold down Y. My quarterback will not throw the ball. I get sacked, or I have to throw it away. Really, really annoying, and again, it's like a cloud over the game right now. It's really unplayable. Some other things that I don't really enjoy, or don't really enjoy, I just don't think they're good, I would say. Running, movement in terms of, in between the hole, it's still clunky. It still feels like you're 500 pounds and can't make a cut. It's going to be that way until we get a new movement system. It's just how it is. QB releases, sorry, are still really, really slow. Really, really annoying that quarterbacks have slow releases and fast releases, and if you play MUT, we only use certain releases throughout the year because they give you a competitive advantage. If your opponent is using Slinger 1 and you aren't, you're at a disadvantage in a competitive game. So that's still annoying. They just, for some reason, just feel like, yeah, we're going to give Herbert a terrible release, we're going to give Mahomes a terrible release, and Slinger 1 is still the best. And yeah, that's the whole thing, which is unfortunate for me, and it's a little aggravating because when I watch football on Sunday, hardly, and this is just not even like there being better releases and bad releases, but hardly do I ever see quarterbacks, their release impacting them like getting sacked. Like, damn, that quarterback got sacked because his release was too long. Like, no, that doesn't happen. They just, they rush their release, or they throw the ball away, or they just don't throw the ball at all. It's just not a thing that happens in real life. And then Madden for the past few years, like, you get sacked, it feels like, or hit as you thrown one every 4 or 5 plays if they're setting pressure, and the ball just pops in the air, and the D-line, picks it off. Now, I will say, 24, way less D-line picks now. Even in regs in 23, D-line picks are a thing. Way less D-line picks in Madden 24, which is good to see. And I guess we could progress into the good. Actually, one last thing. I would say the pass blocking is still very shaky, especially from blitzes off the edge. We have to lab, and again, this comes down to not being able to ID the mic and block certain players playing the game. So, but for right now, like, if someone just calls spinner and you block 6, there's a guy that like comes in for the most part, because they're just still really bad. Running back is slightly better at picking up blitzes, but the tackles still get dumbed out by edge blitzes, just getting spammed over and over and over again. But let's now progress into the good, the positive, because there is, in my opinion, a lot of positive with this game, and I think the game is going to play drastically in terms of the meta. The game still looks the same. I'll repeat that over and over and over again. Visually, it's 2023. Games that get made on a yearly basis, graphically, they're not going to be drastically different. They're going to look, for the most part, the same. So, for the naked eye, 24, if you play the dude that always says, oh, man, yeah, it's going to look the same. It's a sports game. Sports games do not look that much better year to year unless you're going to a new console. But let's get into the good. I'm going to start with the most important thing that I think is going to change the way the game is played, and that is rat catching. Run after catch. If you played Madden 23, you will know rat catching almost slows you down after the catch. It really enforces and promotes and encourages a send a lot of pressure meta, because even if you have 5 steps on your opponent on a quick slant, you rack the ball, you're getting caught in less than 5 yards. It's just how it is. And again, it's why man coverage, for the most part, is the meta and has been the meta for most of the year in Madden 23. And in 24, your player does not break stride. If anything, he probably gets a speed boost on a rat catch. And I think that's going to change. I think it's going to be a predominantly zone meta. Man coverage is still good. If you crossman someone that is on a route, like, for example, a deep crosser, and you put your opposite side safety on them, they're going to bag that. But like, just simple things like drags, where drags get open against man coverage, especially backed off man coverage in 23. You're seeing it in this game a lot right here. The problem is you throw it, and it's like you might have 3 feet 3 yards of separation, but you're getting caught, and that goes from a 25-yard gain or a house call in 24 to a 7-yard gain in Madden 23. So that's the thing I've been the most satisfied and most happy with. Is it just it doesn't it's an anti-send pressure, leave no coverage in the back end, and if they make the catch, like in real life, someone calls cover 0, you got a good man beating concept out there, you got a space on the defender, you throw it on the run, your receiver on the run, he's going to house that, right? Madden 23, that just wasn't a thing at all. So, really happy to see that. Also, with man coverage, again, it's still really good, but there are a lot more, I would say, man-beating routes that are like stock in IRL good routes. Like, the difference is Madden 23, I would say, in routes and out routes round their corners a lot against man coverage, and it doesn't matter if you shade inside, shade outside, shade underneath, the man coverage is going to stay, for the most part, right on top of the receiver. Madden 24, they do a different animation at the top of their break, and it gets 2 or 3 yards of separation, which is what should happen, because it is a man-beating route. If I run a man-beating concept, it should be a lot more consistent. And again, it doesn't promote that just spam, send 8, be great, man coverage meta we saw a lot in 23. So I'm really happy about that. Again, this is why I've said that I think zone coverage is going to be, for the most part, the popular defense. Best defense will always really be a mixture of man and zone with some crossman, but zone I think is going to dominate the meta for the most part of Madden 24, unless we just get to the game and rat catching got nerfed, but I really hope it stays the same. The next thing I want to talk about is quarterback mobility. You've probably seen some tweets in the timeline of the Mahomes super throw animation. I'm not really going to talk about that. I don't think, that thing is probably going to get changed before the full release, but quarterback mobility is a little bit between Madden 22 and Madden 23. It's not escape artist-esque where, you can just roll out whenever you want. You can even leave guys unblocked, and you'll just like speed boost around the outside. If you do contain with your defense and you have a wide set, they will contain. They will properly contain. You can't roll out. But if the defense does not contain and you have a mobile quarterback, I would say, anybody that's got 70 plus speed to a degree, even a guy like Mahomes feels really, really fast behind the pocket. Getting 23, it almost feels like even if you have 99 speed, you got 50 speed behind the line of scrimmage until you get past the line of scrimmage, and then you got your full speed. 24, your quarterbacks have their full speed behind the line of scrimmage. You can, they don't contain, play breaks down, you can roll it to the right and make a play. Another thing on top of that, throwing on the run is a lot better. In 23, I would say 3 out of 4 throws when you throw on the run, you are throwing it in the dirt or 20 feet over their head. Does not matter how wide open or how far away the receiver is from the quarterback. In 24, you can make plays with your quarterback when the play breaks down. And I yes, it might be a little bit OP, but there definitely are like checks and balances with the contain. But I just think it's a lot more fun, and it's realistic, man. Even in MUT, it's felt like mobile quarterbacks this year. Like, I've got Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick, and like I gotta play with them like they're Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, because you can't scramble at all. It feels like they got 50 speed. So I really, really hope they, 1, leave the pocket mobility in for quarterbacks with decent speed, and 2, I really hope they focus on having contains work throughout the year, because they do work. They do work in 24, so they can't scramble out every single play. Some other good things, I would say, run blocking, even though the run blocking or running movement and animation still are very slow and clunky and you feel like you're 500 pounds. Run blocking is definitely better. They just target players more consistently. You've probably seen trailers of players pancaking on pulling blocks. That is true. Another thing, and this actually goes into the category of this could be a positive, this could be a negative, and this is a big thing. Pass velocity abilities, the animation being pass lead elite, set feet lead. In Madden 24, the actual speed of the ball is probably in between a velocity ability in Madden 23 and a non-velocity ability. If you're watching this game right now, you'll notice the ball is coming out at 150 miles per hour. In 24, it is a mixture between 150 miles per hour and 25 miles per hour. It's not as fast, but it's definitely not as slow as a non-velocity ability. So, I think that overall is a positive. We've had an offensive game the past few years, and this, it's just in general better. It also does lead to a little bit, I wouldn't really say you get lurked less, but, when you throw the ball at 150 miles per hour, you've probably seen me lurk with Julius Peppers a few plays in this game. With the ball having a little bit less velocity, it has a little more arc on it, you're able to throw some passes over some defenders where you naturally just couldn't unless you highballed in Madden 23. So, I think that overall is a big positive. High balls, they're still the same. You're gonna get some inaccurates, but for the most part, like if you put a streak on the field and their defenders just backed up, you high ball, pass lead inside, you get the same animation, you catch the ball. Low balls for right now, you still can't really make, just like Madden 23. You throw the ball in the dirt. Every other play user, hard to explain because it is reg. So linebackers still don't jump. Don't know why we still have that, but they still just do not animate like safeties, which is really, really annoying. Oh, another bad thing. I'm kind of like getting things, I'm kind of remembering things as I record this, but weak box is still not a thing. Dollar still is great run defense. But that's something that could possibly be changed from round 24. But, I played a game. I went right back into my dollar. I pinched my D-line. I moved my safeties up. He came out, ran stretch, and there was no weak box. I blew up the run. So, yeah, that probably does need to be fixed, because on me, if someone comes out in a running set, then I'll just come out to like 3-3-5 wide and, match my personnel with their personnel. So, weak box, still not a thing. Hopefully that does get fixed, but I think that's mostly covered everything gameplay-wise. I'd say the scoreboard is really bad. They, for some reason, made it super small. The play clock is super small. The down and distance, being like first down and 10, second down and 3, is super small. Everything, I don't know who at EA brought up, hey, let's bring out a smaller scoreboard. Then they brought up the scoreboard, and people were actually like, yep, that looks like a good scoreboard. I'm not kidding. It's like 30% of the size of the scoreboard you guys see on your screen right now. For someone with bad eyesight, I've got to squint to see the play clock. I've got to squint to see, oh, it's 3rd down and 5, sorry. Because it's only under, like, your own team that has the ball. Don't know why that was a thing. And then, in more general, don't know why crossplay doesn't include franchise for at least at launch. In my opinion, that was like the whole point of crossplay, was franchise for the most part. You know, it'd be easier to get leagues of 32 people on different platforms. I don't really care about being able to play someone on PlayStation and butt head-to-head. Like, there's enough people to play on Xbox. It's really not that big of a deal. If the servers take a hit as a result of that, I think everyone's going to be disappointed with crossplay. But yeah, I think that's really covered everything again. We only have Regs right now. If MUT comes out in a few days and they fixed the pre-play stuff, they've added different abilities so we could lab a little more, like, you know, see if zone works, see what man routes get open, stuff like that. Possibly drop another video in more detail about Madden 24. But in the comments below, if you have played the game, I know a lot of you guys haven't been able to get the game. For some reason, Madden is very stingy with the codes they've brought out. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below about the game. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new. And yes, we did lose this game. Sage. I could not score in the red zone. And until next time, peace.